So over the years, we've actually let go of people who are writing in excess of $1.5 million GCI, which is huge numbers in our neck of the woods, because they haven't been right for our culture. They maybe were and then they weren't, and no one's bigger than our team, no one person. One of the things that really helped was non-selling business owners. So I'm a non-selling business owner, and my business partner Adam doesn't sell either. Neither does most of our management team. So we're not there to compete with our salespeople. We don't take away the leads. I distribute a lot of leads, and most of them, or a lot of them, are generated with guys like you. And so instead of taking them for my own personal benefit, I distribute them to the best person on the team. Our front of house isn't called reception. They're the director of first impressions, because when people walk in, that's they're representing everyone in that building, so they've got to be good.
Today I'm with Tom Rawson, a Ray White business owner who grew a team of 10 into an 180-person business, now on track to sell over 2,000 properties a year. In this episode, you'll learn the non-selling owner model that grew Ray White AT Realty from 10 to 180 people without competing with his own agents. 2, how to make the shift from selling principal to business owner, including the financial reality most agents don't talk about. And 3, why Tom fired agents earning over $1 million in GCI in order to preserve a strong team culture. Right, let's dive in.
We all eat together is a big thing. Our lunchrooms are amazing. Whenever we have awards or whatever, we've always got food. And I think it's something that's come from our Pacifica portion of our business. Food's a big thing. And so when you break bread with people or have a meal with people, or just get outside of just doing deals and you get to know people a little bit more, then you're more willing to help. Initially, that first year for me of transitioning was really hard because I had a minor office shareholding. Mine was a staggered buy-in. And so I went from earning kind of 7 figures down to not a lot, but I had been planning on this. You've got to have a little bit of insulation of the war chest, because it's not going to be easy. Data is going to be massive. Clean data, AI is not going to replace us immediately, although I think a lot of people in the industry could be replaced by AI because they haven't focused on the third thing, which is relationships. Building your own brand, like what do you stand for?
This episode is brought to you by Real Growth. If you're an agent who wants more listings, more income, and you want the exact strategies you can use to achieve success, you're in the right place. I'm Ben Hawkey, and this is the Real Growth Podcast.
Tom, thanks for joining, mate. The first question I have for you is, what made you decide to move from real estate agent to starting and running a real estate business?
So back when I was selling, I wanted to get into ownership. So I was still a salesperson, but I wanted to have, I suppose, some reward for the extra effort I was putting in outside of just selling houses myself and my team. So I had a team of a couple of sales associates and a PA, and I was constantly bringing in new people and then enabling them to go out on their own. So I was training more people. And so as part of my, I suppose, desire was to have something bigger than just a sales business, my own one, or sales team. I wanted to grow other people. I see massive value and get enjoyment out of growing people and then seeing them succeed beyond and on our standalone. So I was starting to do that. I was taking trainings. My door was always open to my office and people were coming in and asking me stuff anyway. So I was becoming quite a key person within the business, and I was making my desire or intentions, I suppose, known to take up a shareholding, which was fortunate that I did. I've been in it 12 years now. I think I bought in 10 years ago, maybe. When I started, there was 10 of us, and today there's 180. So like if I was buying in now, it's much more of a high value asset than, what I bought into, 10 years ago.
I'd love to
But ultimately,
dive
you're having
into that
something
down the
bigger than
track.
just a sales team. I wanted to have a business, get involved in that. I'd come from owning my own businesses. So it was always like when I was a security tech, I was a one man in a van type operator. And then I got a second guy in a second van. And so I was growing and then decided to get out of Auckland, moved to Papamoa, never coming back to Auckland. And then obviously look at me now. I was 1 year away from Auckland and straight back to Auckland and kind of got into it heavily. Change of career was good though. The only thing that Papa and I was good for was changing my career.
Nice. And so what? Okay, so looking at that, going from 10, a team of 10 when you first bought in to now 180. I guess what has allowed you guys, like, if you're looking at Ray White AT Realty's success and growth over the years, what are the 3 to 5 things that you think have actually driven that success? If you can kind of pin it down to some key activities or actions that you guys are doing within the organization.
Yeah. Okay. So 3 things that have enabled us to grow that quickly, I suppose, is investment in our people and premises. Within our neck of the woods, we've probably got, we've got 4 offices, say in South Auckland, now 2 in the city. We'll end up merging the 2 in the city into 1 super office. With our 4 facilities in South Auckland, we're probably 4 of the 5 best offices in the area in terms of to operate out of. The good vibe, good culture, quite funky. So people enjoy coming to work. We've become an attraction business, which was a key thing that we wanted to have. You want to have attraction from salespeople, but also from the marketplace. So if you're an undesirable brand or business, obviously that makes it pretty hard to operate. But so we became an attraction business through investment in people and premises. We train a lot. So our people grow with us. They don't just come to us and decline. It's not just, here you go, here's a desk, good luck. It's come to us and we've got a plan. So they start off with a 90-day action plan, and then that first 3 months really sets them up for the next 3 decades. And we train every week. Having 3 core values probably is another one that sets us apart. Like, we've got 3 values. I'll just rattle them off because they're real quickly. We are one. So we operate as a family, with you all the way. So from start to finish, wherever you may be going, we'll be with you there. And go next level is the 3rd one. So we're always aiming to be growing. In saying that, we have some people that are coasting now. They've been in the industry 20 years. I've got a bunch of people that have been with us for over 10 years, different ages and stages, but most of the people that join us are on that kind of trajectory. And you would have seen over the years, Ben, that we've kind of gone like that as a business. So that's, having that ambition. One of the things that really helped was non-selling business owners. So I'm a non-selling business owner, and my business partner, Adam, doesn't sell either. Neither does most of our management team. So we're not there to compete with our salespeople. We don't take away the leads. As you know, I distribute a lot of leads, and most of them, or a lot of them, are generated with guys like you. And so instead of taking them for my own personal benefit, I distribute them to the best person on the team. I've been networking for best part of 40 years. And so my team benefit from that as well, plus all the transactions and people I've met along the way that come to resell. I don't sell anymore. I made the promise to the team around that. And so they benefit from having non-selling principals that just give a shit about their success. So that's been a big one for us as well. We've been in a great brand, right? And they've invested a lot into their tech platforms as well. So now we've got great tools alongside other things. So it's making it easier for our team to generate more revenue. And obviously, if everyone's growing, then that's what people want. Internal growth as well, not necessarily just salespeople. So we've got people that have started on the front counter that had ended up, in high level management roles. And then I'm thinking like of one, say Debbie Kingy. She's now out selling and growing her own team. But she started on the reception with us almost 10 years ago. So she's gone like full circle. Alana in the business, she was there from day one. Jeff in the business was there from day one, 14 years ago when the business started. So tenure and longevity. Once you join, basically, you can't leave.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to leave anyway. Like, it's been a business where people join and they, everyone of our team gets recruitment calls often, but they politely decline, maybe sometimes take up the free lunch, but politely decline, and they're not unhappy with us for a number of reasons.
There's so many things that I want to go in, and you've covered so many things that I'd love to go in deeper. One around the culture, and another around being a non-selling owner, and training and support when someone comes on board for their first 30, 90 days. But just bringing it back to the culture side of things. A lot of people business owners, they say they've got a great culture, but if you were to look at the daily actions that you guys are taking within the business that builds a strong culture, what are those types of things? Because it's not just like it's not just the values that are on the wall, it's the actions that you as business owners are actively doing to create that culture. Have you got any actual examples of the types of things that you're doing to kind of create a really strong culture within the organization?
Yeah. Yeah. It's quite funny. Like, so, everyone says they got a good culture. You know, oh, we've got a great culture, good vibe, great training, all the rest of it, because they know that's what people want. But then when people join that business and they've got a shit culture, shit vibe, and I hope you can swear on this because it's only going to real estate agents, so we swear often, we can beat that out. Everyone wants to compete in the same place, but the reality is everything's completely different from business to business. One of the things that we do is, like, we live by our values, and culture flows really from the top down initially until it's immersed, and then it's like everyone is the culture. So if we have a bad apple, then we need to get rid of that because we've got a great apple cart. So over the years, we've actually let go of people who are writing in excess of $1.5 million GCI, which is huge numbers in our neck of the woods, because they haven't been right for our culture. They maybe were and then they weren't. And so culture is fluid, and so are people. So when we've let go of people, and we kind of get a round of applause, we know we've done the right thing. And no one's bigger than our team, no one person. One of the, I suppose, the things is, and I saw it last night, I was sitting around a pretty high-powered table, and how people treated the waiter. A lot can be said around that, or the air hostess, or whatever it is, the person in that service kind of industry. And you might be a high-earning professional, but you're talk down to people. We've got no place for that kind of person in our business. So I remember one time sitting in our old Manukau office, having lunch just around the corner from our front of house, and some douchebag walks in and goes, "Oh, can you give this to your sales manager?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure, no worries, thanks." Like, nice lady. Walks around the corner, and he initially actually asked, "Sorry, is the sales manager here?" Not even like a, "Hey Ben, how are you?" It's like, "Hey, is the sales manager here?" "Nah, can you give him this?" And then walks off. She walks around the corner. Her name was Nikita. Walks around the corner and goes, "Oh, someone's just dropped this off at reception for you." We had a rule like you can't just walk in and then go and interrupt me and have a meeting with the sales manager. I was like, "Just bin it. Just chuck it in the bin." She's like, "What do you mean? You haven't even read it?" I was like, "Well, I heard the way he talked to you, and that's not right for our culture." Just bin it. I didn't even read it. Didn't even know what he looked like. But just overhearing the way that he spoke. So our support team of about 30 salaried staff supports 100 and something agents, and then we've got about 25 in property management. So our support staff is our key to our business. They call it the engine room. So the way that you treat the people that I pay every week in terms of a salary is how I judge most people, but also then it's a reflection on them somewhat. So yeah, that's a big one for culture. Events, we holiday together. Like we've this year we'll take 50 people to Thailand. Last year we took 50 people to Connect in Australia, which is an Australian conference. The year before, 50 to Bali, and we have a lot of fun. We're well resourced. We're all of the same mindset. So we've taken the no dickheads approach from the All Black. Sweep the sheds after you're finished in there and that kind of thing. Like clean up after yourself and take care of our premises because that's our home. So there's lots of little things, and there's 1,001 percenters that equal 100% of what we do. And so when people try to imitate or try to say they've got a great culture too, they might have 10, 15 things going great for them, but they don't have the 1,000 little things.
Yes.
Before we move on with the episode, I just want to share something genuinely useful, especially if you're a real estate agent or a real estate business owner. Now, after analyzing over 2,000 property listing campaigns, we found something most agents miss. 20 to 30% of buyer inquiries are coming from local homeowners. And around 10% of those homeowners go on to sell their own property within the next 12 months, which means your future listings are often already sitting amongst those buyer inquiries. You just don't know who they are, and how to uncover those opportunities. And that's why we created the Level Up Listing Toolkit. It's a free resource we have created that will show you how to identify those homeowners, nurture them properly, and ultimately convert them into future listings. You can download the toolkit by clicking the link in the show notes below, or if you're on Instagram or Facebook, just comment the word toolkit and we'll send it directly to you. All right, back to the episode.
Our front of house isn't called reception. They're the director of first impressions, because when people walk in, that's, they're representing everyone in that building. So they've got to be good. As part of our interviewing process, we'll ask the director of first impressions. So for example, Han in Manukau, I was like, hey, Han, how did that guy enter? Oh, yeah, no, he was all good. Yep. So that's a thumbs up. Or, oh, he's a bit of an arrogant dude. Like I had one guy come in and sunglasses and, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, it seems like he would have been a bit of a douche. I'll go check with Han. And Han's like, yeah, no, a bit of a cool dude, eh? And so I'm like, oh, yeah, that was, my vibe check was about right. We have people in charge of vibe at each office.
Oh, yeah.
So they're in charge of the music and the mood, so that you come into the office and it's better than being down the road in the local cafe. We enjoy people coming in and adding to our culture, so adding to the mood. Like at Manurewa, where I've been based, I had a sign on the door, like if you're bringing in bad energy, turn around, because you shouldn't be bringing it in and infecting everyone else. And that the sign used to be for me. Like if I had dealt with a complaint or whatever it might be, I walk into the office and I could bring the level of the office down. So what I actually needed to do was go back to my car, do a lap around the block, listen to some music, and then come back in with better energy. So massive around energy as well. I don't know, man, it's no one real thing, but it's everything.
Everything. Yeah. All those 1%ers, like you said. And so building on what you said before, you said when someone comes on board, and you said you've got an action plan for them, which sets the tone for the next decade. Do you mind expanding on that and what you actually mean by that?
Yep.
And why that's actually important as well?
Yeah, sweet. I mean, the amount of people that have come to us after a couple of months somewhere else, is insane. So they start over at a different brand and they'll meet the guy there, the elderly sales manager, who's a bit of out of touch with the industry, and they go, there's your desk and here's your business cards and all the best. I'm here if you need me. And unfortunately, that's a lot of the industry. It is changing a lot, and I don't mean to be rude to others out there. It's changing a lot. Like when I started and through the first 5 years, 10, even a little bit later, that's what it was, famously me and a couple of dudes did a panel interview, and they're like, William Bayer, good dude, sitting at the front of with me in the panel interview, and they're like, what's your perception of, real estate agents? And it's like an old man with grey hair driving a BMW, and that was the industry for a long time. And so the industry norm was like, we don't really want new people joining because they're taking sales away from our established people. We've got the complete opposite approach. Like if we can have new people join, then that elevates our existing people because we put them in like a mentorship program. So Ben, if you were to join our business, and Bob over here is doing amazing in our business, I might talk to Bob first and say, hey, Bob, met this awesome dude, Ben, and I think he'd be a good fit for you, reasons why. And if you could you mentor him through, you've got to have that through your first 6 months anyway of supervision, but could you mentor him through maybe his first 12 months? What happens is Bob gets better and gets used to having Ben, and then Ben goes out on his own, and then someone else, like Bob streams out for someone else, and then Bob gets better again and gets better again. And so that's worked really, really well. So when I started underneath Adam. So I did 3 deals by myself, door knocking in Otara, picked up some listings and managed to sell them. It's quite a daunting prospect. What was that, 2014, door knocking around Otara. I did have hair then, but I still kind of looked like a detective or something wandering into the streets in a suit. And so I did a couple of deals there, and then Adam saw something in me, which was good. So I jumped into his sales team. So I learned with Adam, and then Adam stopped selling. I came in there, and then I brought in a guy called Chongda. So Chongda, who still works with us now, came in as my sales associate. Then Chongda went out on his own. Then you bring in Jin Tonamaliti, Nihao, all these people come through. And so that we saw that worked, and then they went out and flourished in their own careers. Then more and more people came and joined us. So the bigger we got, the harder it was to have a one-on-one type process of bringing people on. So we created a book where it's a 90-day plan, which involves meeting other people within the business. So just, if you started being in our business, find someone from each of our offices and take them out for a coffee. Go to that office so that when you're doing a transaction in a different area and you need to pop into one of our offices, everyone in there knows your name. Most important, you're set up across 6 spaces so that you can transact anywhere in Auckland and have a local office to go to. So that's quite cool. It's part of the process. Otherwise, you just get siloed to your desk and you don't leave. We've got the AT Realty Playbook. And so that's a living document kind of encompassing the last 10 years of learnings. So that's like the Bible for us in a way. So just go and study that. So we'll link that. We've got some key podcasts and playlists over the years that we've acquired as well. And so this 90-day plan really is like there's no template. I was going to call it a blueprint. There's no blueprint around how to get going in real estate. You can watch videos and stuff like that, but we've got like this live document, and you click here to follow that, click here to go to do that. Have check-ins with the sales managers as well involved, and really just make sure that you're getting off on the right foot. Otherwise, you get in there and you're like, what do I do? What do I do now? Like, I'm a real estate agent. What do I do? So it's from plenty of trial and error that we've created something that has worked well.
And that's what people want when they're new and inexperienced. They need structure, they need direction, and it sounds that's exactly what you're doing, is providing that structure and direction for agents.
And mentorship is massive, so I've made lots of mistakes over the years through just trying. Like, I was, really gave it a good go when I was selling. And so you make all these errors and you don't want to see other people make the same errors. Like, you'd hopefully stop someone from running into the brick wall if you saw them running into the brick wall. So, hey, look, I've done that before. It didn't work out that well for me. Maybe try this. And so it's come from just helping each other. So like a lot of our internal training, we've got some of the best agents in the industry in our ranks. So we internally train together. And you see it like with fighters, like Tyson Fury and Joseph Parker will box and train with each other, and they're the 2 of the best in the world, and they're helping each other get better. They don't see each other as competition. They haven't actually ever fought, those 2 guys, but they help each other. So they bring, Joseph Parker's over, and Tyson Fury stays with Tyson Fury during fight camps and will help Tyson prepare for fights, and Tyson and reciprocation helps Joe prepare for fights. And so you learn from being around really good people. So I don't understand people that want to be number one in their small office, or they're, I'm number one, cool, of like 3 people. I'd rather they were top 20, top 10 out of 100, and were growing, rather than needing to be number one, in a small ecosystem. Yeah, it's been big for us, this, and we've had people, I don't know, man, I don't feel like I deserve to join your business. It's like, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you if I didn't think you'd be the right fit for our team. And actually a couple of our team have mentioned you already, which is why I'm here. And so we kind of, I've got to almost convince them to come across, but we've got people that are like number ones elsewhere that would be kind of top 30 within our business. And I think they would benefit from being top 30 and learning from everyone above them than being number one and trying to stay above, 4 other people.
How do you create that willingness for the agents to share and collaborate? Is it just come back to the culture again, that we are a team and you're just setting that tone right from the start? If you got 2 top agents, and maybe they work in the same suburbs and they've lost listings to each other, like how do you create that?
Yeah, good one. So a lot of them, they've come from nothing. So like Chongda joined me, had never done a deal, and so he joined effectively 11 and a half years ago, and he joined as my sales associate, and we grew him, and he went out on his own. Then Chongda's now got people working with him. Jin Tonamaliti, he was coming out of a great role with Office Products Depot, 200 grand a year, got a bunch of kids. And I was like, are you sure, like you want to get into it? I took him with me, and then now he's on his own, and he's got this young guy, Aramiha, that works for him now, which is pretty cool. And so because they've come in this process where you come in, you're learning from someone, And I explained to them, like, look, we'll show you everything you need to know and try and make you avoid the things you don't need to know. And they see how much love and support we put into people, that when they go out on their own, they're happy to, and it's this continuous elevation. But so they've lived through it, they've felt it, they've seen it. It's how we are, it's who we are. And so that's a big thing. So when it's broken, you come up and share a bit about what you're doing there. It's not awkward or random. It's just a continuous evolution of our agents. So, and then you get the two good agents competing in the same area. Awesome. At least you know how the other guy operates. The worst is having an unknown competitor. A lot of the time, our team will collaborate. So like, oh, you've got Tom and Ben, and cool. Hey, what if Tom and Ben came together rather than losing the listing because they didn't want to upset either Tom or Ben? I'd go with Jeff instead. It's like, hey, if you could get both of us on, would you work with us? Oh yeah, of course. Is that an option? Yeah, cool. Like, no arrogance, no, like we can't have that big-headed culture. Like, oh no, if it's not me, it's Ben, then I'll never talk to you again. Or if like, what if we could work together? So yeah, this is that. Collaborate is part of the culture.
Yes.
Helping others is part of the culture. Like, we all eat together is a big thing. Our lunchrooms are amazing. Whenever we have awards or whatever, we've always got food. And I think it's something that's come from our Pacifica portion of our business. Food's a big thing. And so when you break bread with people or have a meal with people, or just get outside of just doing deals and you get to know people a little bit more, then you're more willing to help. So people that immerse themselves into our business with a full-time approach, we see those guys and girls as next leaders, and ultimately they elevate and then bring people with them on the journey. So a lot of the guys and girls have come on a journey with us, and so they see how we operate. It's like, we've just recently aligned with the All Blacks with Ray White, and we had Kieran Reid speaking at the conference yesterday. Just the things that you can learn from the All Blacks culture of always leaving the jersey a better place. That's the All Blacks ethos, is, whatever you do, leave the jersey in a better place than when you got it. And he was talking about 2016 when 2015, 16, when like the likes of Dan Carter, Richie McCaw, all these guys were retiring from the All Blacks, and then all these younger guys were coming in, and they felt inadequate because how are you meant to leave the jersey of Richie McCaw in a better place?
Yeah.
Like, you already see him as the GOAT, like, how do you get in there? And so, yeah, it was quite, like the imposter syndrome and all these kind of things that come into it. But yeah, we're not leave the jersey in a better place, but we're always like help each other, like together. We compete with a lot of people from other brands, other businesses. Yes. So we don't need to compete internally. Tyson and Joe aren't fighting each other, they're fighting everyone else. And so if they can share any tips and tricks with each other, then they'll both do better. So that's kind of our approach.
That makes complete sense. And just I've got one question on the sales meetings. And it stuck with me when we were talking. Geez, maybe it was 6-7 months ago now. And I said, "Do you mind if I pop in and do the presentation?" You said, "Nah, it's all good. I'll present." And it showed to me that obviously you really value the time of your agents and what is being communicated in those sales meetings. A lot of the sales meetings that I have been in the past, it's more of a calendar update on what's going on in the office, and most people don't really want to be there. How are you structuring your sales meetings differently than probably the average office out there?
That annoys all the suppliers. Wasn't just you, Ben.
No.
But yeah, if you got 100 people sitting there, and our sales meetings or our awards, or everything's less than an hour. So on Friday, we had our quarterly awards plus our all hands meeting. So all officers plus property management in one space. And we got through so much content. So it's a real content heavy, like, what are we doing now? Where are we going? What projects are we working on at the moment that'll benefit the team longer term, what's happening out there from a market perspective, etc. And then into awards. And we gave out, there's probably 20 awards there across PM, Central and South. And we did that in 59 minutes because we've got 130 people sitting on that. So it's 130 collective hourly rates. And I said, I don't want to have a meeting for no meeting's sake. So we have cancelled meetings in the past where we don't have content worthy of taking an hour of your time. So we're really conscious of that. Like, you don't just want to come in and listen to me for the sake of it. It's not a compliance meeting or a compliance thing. It's like, I've got to add value. So yeah, we're massive on that. We had a supplier come in a few years ago, and we gave them 5 minutes and they were there for 20 minutes. And I was like, sheesh, I've just wasted, collectively, if we had 50 people in there, 15 minutes, I wasted a lot of time that we could have been doing other stuff with. And one of the things, I suppose, my stance on salespeople attending the meetings is, they're my customers. So my support team, the engine room that I referred to earlier, they help me with my customers, which are my sales team, and then their clients are the people that own houses. And so I'm wasting my customers' time if I don't have good content worthy of listening to. So we structure them in a way where, if I believe in something as well, like I believed in your product, so I was like, hey, look, you send me the slides, I'll do the pitch for you. I'll get it across in a way that they'll understand. And I'm not going to be talking about it to 100 people if I don't believe in it. And so they appreciate that I've probably spent a lot of time researching it, engaging with you, and then believing in it, because I reject a lot of things as well. I'm like the gatekeeper to the guys and girls. So yeah, if I can deliver it, I think it's got often a better result than if someone external comes in and does the same pitch that they've done to. We've had people in that are great one-on-one, and we put them in front of 100 people and they just freeze. It's quite a daunting process when you get 100 people in a room to present versus like in a smaller group.
Yeah.
We had this amazing building inspector come through, and he did a bit of compliance training around direct fix cladding and monolithic cladding and stuff like that. And when he caught up with me and some of the management, he was awesome. Just a typical builder that's real knowledgeable, bit of an older guy. We put him up there in front of 100 people. Worst session ever. I felt sorry for him, but just that public speaking's really hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd rather be comfortable with the content myself and be able to deliver it. And I've had it recently where I asked the suppliers to come in and be at the back of the room just for questions afterwards.
Right.
So I delivered content, and I was like, and he's at the back of the room, and afterwards when we have a bit of morning tea, he'll be there to talk to, and that works well, because I'm not saying I don't want any suppliers ever, but it's more like I don't want to waste my people's time. And so people turn up to our sales meetings because there's good value in turning up.
And honestly, I noticed that a lot of agents don't turn up to sales meetings. They almost get to a point where they just go, wow, there's no point. I'm not going to get any value from this. I'm just not turning up. And they do it because they know they can as well, because maybe the business is quite reliant on them as an agent. One of the things that you mentioned before, and I'm keen to get your thoughts on this, for business owners that are listening, who still currently sell, how can they make that shift from not being a selling business owner, and actually remove themselves? Because I think everyone agrees when they hear you say it's so much more beneficial if you're not selling, because then you're not competing with your own agents. But how do you make that transition if you're bringing in 40% of the revenue? You can't just stop. You know what I mean? Like, how would you, if you were mentoring someone who was in their shoes, how would you say, how can we make that transition out of being a selling principal?
Well, you kind of answered it in a roundabout way, Ben. If you're bringing in 40%, it's very hard to stop. And if you haven't thought about it for a while and got the right people coming through so that your 40% then gets dispersed to 3 other people, and they can grow it a little bit. So then they got 15%, 15%, and 10%. You haven't lost anything. You've actually gained. So if they can. So I was probably that guy, and I had 3 amazing people that worked for me. And I just said to them, hey guys, I'm stopping now. Like, we've just bought another office. I'm going to go down the road. I'm going to run that one. And they're like, oh, what do we do? I was like, well, you're all very capable. You're awesome. You're actually better than me at what you do. And so I'm just going to give you your sections of what we were doing, and away you go. And so all 3 of them are still with us, and they do amazing work. So having the right people that you're not losing 40% straight away. Like, I suppose, don't be so ignorant to think that just because you stop selling, that 40% is going to go somewhere else. It might, if you haven't worked towards actually having a succession plan.
Yes.
And then once once you realize that once you stop selling, you can actually grow the base. So your 40% that might be with those 3 people in my scenario becomes 20%, still the same amount or even a little bit bigger, but the pie is growing because they've been able to grow some of the other team. So you've got time and bandwidth effectively to put some time into the other guys, and then you get them up a little bit. So net, you're better off. Initially, that first year for me of transitioning was really hard because I had a minor office shareholding. Mine was a staggered buy-in, and so I went from earning kind of 7 figures down to not a lot. But I had been planning on this, and so it kind of, you've got to have a little bit of insulation, like a war chest, because it's not going to be easy for the guy to go from 40%. The other thing that people really miss is their face out there on the sold sticker. Every corner had Tom Rawson. I was on the radio, I was doing all sorts of stuff. And so there's that little bit of ego inside everyone. It's just human nature. And so now that isn't Tom Rawson, but now for me, it's 120 people. So every time I see one of my team, it's 120 times better off for me now, because I see my team out there all the time. And so I get massive joy in that. But that is a learnt behavior and a learnt feeling, which was previously me, go up on stage, win the awards, all that kind of cool stuff, and the recognition of a solo guy. But it was still a team thing back then. So yeah, it's a tough transition, but you've really got to want to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're getting value from this conversation and you're the type of person who doesn't want to listen to good ideas, but you actually want to implement them, we've built something for you. Every podcast we record, we pull out the key strategies and turn them into done-for-you action plans, scripts, and templates. So instead of frantically scribbling notes or telling yourself, I'll come back to that later, and never doing it, we're giving you the actual tools to go and implement what you're hearing right now. You can find all of this inside the Real Growth Listing Lab. Every guest, every episode, every strategy turned into something you can use to start growing your business tomorrow. Just click the link in the show notes. It'll only take 10 seconds. Right, let's get back into it.
The things that helped me do it was focusing on the bigger picture. And then my kids coming along as well was a big thing. Married, kids pretty quickly after, wanting to be a good dad as well. And I'm still working on being a good husband. I put a lot of effort into the kids, and probably Anna, unfortunately, is in 3rd place behind my 2 boys. But yeah, so hard to do. Is it worthwhile? Yes, you do have to stick at it. It's not an overnight success dumping, but then you've got to get good at growing other people and getting reward from growing people. If you're just after sold stickers and stuff, like some people are destined to be selling principals, and then they've got a different approach. Like they're in the trenches, they're out there doing it. They'll do joint listings with people. They'll get stuff and pass it on. So I could sell you on why it might be good to join a selling principal, but ultimately it can be a bit stink when that, you lose a listing to your boss, or he's out there doing stuff and I needed him for this and I can't get a hold of him because he's in the middle of a pitch or whatever, or everyone's clapping him up on stage, or he's done 5 auctions and you had one and it didn't work and he was busy on that stuff. So I've just got so much more time to help people now, and they get value out of that. And so our business, I think we provide really good value in terms of the people that are helping you grow rather than competing and taking a little bit of income out of the marketplace that you're operating in.
Yeah. Well, that makes complete sense. And I was just thinking of business owners listening and going, I think that's going to be a question they're going to want to know how you made that transition across. So thanks for sharing that. If there was one thing that you would want them to kind of take away from today's kind of conversation, what would it be? You might have already mentioned it, but like there's one thing business owners should take away from this conversation. What would you want it to be?
Probably have more of a horizon view on where you want to go rather than where you are right now. Most businesses, I think, in New Zealand at the moment have had a hard few years. I know we have, in terms of like where we were, and everyone kind of refers to the past like 5-10 years ago. Those times were abnormal. Where you are now and where you want to go is where you need to put your effort. And yeah, so have a good positive mindset around it. Everything's getting better. It feels like it's getting better. and just looking ahead. And so it might be that principle that's listening and going, oh sheesh, what's one thing that I should take away? Have a plan around not being a selling principal. Have a plan. Maybe it's a 2-year plan, 3-year plan. Like with Adam, when he stopped being a selling principal, when I joined, and I was number 10 there, he's like, oh, bro, this will be a 3-year transition. I'll show you the ropes. We'll do everything together, and you can leverage my track record and stuff. And then after 6 months, he was like, later, and threw me in the deep end. So it doesn't, have a 3-year plan, maybe, or a 2-year plan with some of your people, and get the right people in, and have a pathway to, to that. And if it's faster than expected, embrace that. If it's slower, embrace that too. But have a like a 10-year plan. Like, where do I want to be in 10 years? Like for me, I want to have amazing people around me. I want to have best businesses in each of the areas that we operate. I want to have a office I'm proud of, that other people aspire to be part of, an attraction business and all the rest of it. So every day now I'm working toward that plan. Not necessarily, I'm day to day, like I'm very much day to day, but I'm also looking in the horizon too. So you don't get caught up so much in the day to day and not have a plan. That's being the best. Getting time out of the business. Like, so for me, I go to conferences a lot, 4 times or 5 times a year. I'm going to Aussie. So I get to have a couple of hours on the plane to myself to think, where the phone doesn't work, especially on Air New Zealand, the Wi-Fi is in and out. So the phone doesn't work. And so you got time to actually think. I don't watch movies on planes. I just like grab a book out, start writing, or go through some old notes and stuff, and just remind myself of what I've was aiming to do. And then have one of the best things I wrote on one of the trips, first quarter of last year, was I wrote the heading enough, ... underlined, and then wrote down underneath there what enough looks like for me. Because I think there's a thing called the hydronic treadmill. So the more you do, the more you want, the more you do, the more you need. I don't want to ever be caught up in that. I'm not a pretentious guy. I'm not into flashy things. I like things, but I don't want to be keeping up with the Joneses all the time. So I've got a definition for me of what enough is, and that's the finish line or the destination. But enjoying the journey as well, and making sure that I'm not changing the goalposts on myself. It's like, Ben, you're a successful dude. And where you are exactly now, Ben, is exactly what you dreamed of doing maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was. And you're there now, and you've got all these other bigger ambition goals. So just having some clarity around the ultimate reason why we do this.
Yeah. That's a really good advice. And thanks for finishing on that. One other thing, I didn't actually have this question down, but you mentioned conferences, and you mentioned before about Ray White, and the technology that they have. You've got more of an understanding than most business owners on where you think the direction of real estate's going to head. Do you mind sharing your thoughts on what the next 10 years looks like in real estate and the real estate industry?
Yeah. So I think a lot of competing
Without
brands have
scaring
been
anyone?
stealing franchise fees.
Without scaring all the agents out there?
Nah. Well,
No.
Yeah. So I think other brands have been taking franchise fees and not reinvesting that into the next 10 years. Like, they've had a bit of a shorter horizon. I know Dan White right from the top and Brian White have been reinvesting revenue that they collect through franchise fees into technology, which enables us to do more business. Ultimately, they collect more franchise fees and we all grow together. So I think investment in tech's a big one. They're massive on culture. They're a family-owned business, Ray White family. And so just their ethics and cultural morals has been great. And I think having that grounding, there's going to be like private equity get into real estate. New Zealand's got a small market when you look at Compass over in America and other places, and there's big private equity get in, and they want access to our data. Like, data's a big thing. You know all about that, Ben. With you go outbound all the time to find new eyeballs to feed to agents, and then we try and get them to take their shoes off at our open homes. Like, that's ultimately the small journey we've got to get them on, from get the property in front of them, get them to our open home, get an offer, do the transaction. So I think data is going to be massive. Clean data, AI to help AI is not going to replace us immediately. Although I think a lot of people in the industry could be replaced by AI because they haven't focused on the third thing, which was relationships. Building your own brand, like what do you stand for? Like I don't want to be a real estate agent. I want to be a trusted advisor. Like I didn't care if people paid me or didn't pay me, and not every person was the right fit for me, and I wasn't the right fit for everyone. So that was quite a good approach to take, because otherwise you can be a sucker to commission. Not every commission is good commission. Not every deal is a good deal. And so be really respectful of your own brand and who you are and what you stand for. But I think the 10-year horizon, I think we're still going to be massive on relationships. If you can be great with tech and you've got access to good tech, but then you've got a good brand, people know what you stand for, and you're a communicator. Like I love getting in front of people. Yes, you can send letters. I love sending letters and cards and emails and texts and phone calls and Zooms. But ultimately, I can communicate with people in person, and that's probably where I do my best work, because I love learning from people. So everyone I'm meeting with, I'm trying to figure out where I can learn from them. They might be doing the same from me, and I might influence them somehow through catching up for a coffee, and they'll definitely influence me. Like one of our salespeople here I just met with this morning, I just found out he is an awesome golfer. So I want to line up a game of golf with him so that he can help me, and ultimately I'll be able to help him too.
Yeah.
But so everyone adds value to each other, and if you can see the value in other people is key. But tech, AI, like surfacing the right people out of the data that you have to engage with, because it's a pretty hectic environment out there. We've all got more and more data, and we can buy data, find data, all the rest of it. But ultimately, you don't have enough time or capability, capacity to hit all that data. So getting the right people in front of the right people and then actually engaging with them, adding value is going to be the key thing. There's a lot of spam out there. People think because they've sent something that it's been read, but it's not. Like, oh, I'm sending 10,000 emails a week. Cool. What's your cut through rate? How many people call you? Like how many good conversations have you had? So key's still going to be relationships, in my opinion, over the next 10 years. And like how people know you. Like I know you, Ben, and I know what you stand for, and I know what you can do, and you're amazing at what you do. And I've referred and recommended you to heaps of people. And I know that I'm referring and recommending you, and you're not going to let me down. And so agents and business owners can probably hear the flip side of that. If people were recommending me, what are they going to get? And what access to my network are they going to get? And so, being a good person is not going to change, for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
You can opt out of a few things and try and get tech to replace a few people and stuff. But if you deliver good value and you're a good person, you're still going to win, I think, over the next 10 years. That's the space I'll be playing in. So I'm just going to carry on being me, genuine, fair and firm, helping people to grow, eyes open to the tech. Not every tech's good tech. And then make sure that I'm still connected with people.
Before we finish, here are 2 simple actions you can take following today's episode. First, if you're a real estate agent focused on growing your real estate business, and you'd just like some clear guidance on what marketing and prospecting systems you should be focusing on so you can list more properties, make more money, and ultimately build a sustainable long-term real estate business, simply click the link in the show notes and book a marketing roadmap call with either myself or the team. Or alternatively, if you're happy with the income you're making, please just hit the share button and share this episode with an agent in your office who might benefit from hearing it. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you on the next episode.